What is the difference between VFR and IFR? At the risk of oversimplifying it, VFR is flying when you can see, or visually, and IFR is flying when you cannot see, or with your instruments. VFR stands for Visual Flight Rules, while IFR stands for Instrument Flight Rules. In this basic course, we're not going to go into details of each regarding all the ins and outs. That would be about 20 or more hour course. Let's start with some basic understanding of when you can fly VFR and when you cannot, which means flying IFR. First, like we covered in the previous lesson, you cannot fly a VFR in Class Alpha airspace, or 18,000 feet or more in the United States. Second, you need to at least have 3 statute miles of visibility, and the ceilings, or the bottom of the cloud layer, needs to be at least 500 feet above you. Or you need to be at least 1,000 feet above the clouds, or 2,000 feet horizontally of the clouds. This changes when you go above 10,000 feet to 5 statute miles of visibility, 1,000 feet below the clouds, and 1,000 feet above the clouds, and 1 statute mile horizontally of the clouds. This changes in both Class Bravo and Class Gulf airspace. In Class Bravo airspace, you need to have 3 statute miles of visibility and just remain clear of the clouds. In Class Gulf airspace, at night, you need to have 3 statute miles of visibility, 500 feet below, 1,000 feet above, and 2,000 feet horizontally. In the day, 1 statute miles of visibility and clear of clouds. As you can see, in both Class Bravo airspace and Class Gulf airspace, the requirements to fly VFR are lower. This is not an exhaustive look at VFR, but in general, if the airport is reporting VFR conditions, you are free to fly in or out of the airspace in VFR. Instrument flying is when these VFR requirements cannot be met, or when you are in Class Alpha airspace, and you're flying solely off your instruments. We won't get into minimum VFR flying in this course, nor the requirements for helicopters, which are different. If you want to know more about minimum VFR, you can check out the FAA website. To summarize, VFR is when you're flying visually, when you can see the ground, avoid clouds, avoid airplanes, and generally enjoy the pleasure of flying. A lot of general aviation traffic enjoy VFR flying. IFR is when you are flying with your instruments, or in Class Alpha airspace.